Hello class 8, I hope everything is going well. Class 8, previously we had started a new chapter, that is A Narrow Escape, written by Leela Majumdar, a writer of children's story, in which we have found that grandson Tapa, the name of grandson Tapa, how he went to a new place, and how he has experienced in a hillside house, in which we have also come to know that here Leela Majumdar has explained us, has described the time when the people are being afraid of being bombed. It was the time of Second World War, and the narrator of the story, he is telling us about his uncle's position, and he is telling us that how his uncle has decided to shift from that place, his own place, to a safe area. So they had decided to go to Kurseong in Darjeeling district. The uncle had decided to move from their house, but they had found a house also, and even the rent was decided also. But the aunt, Tiapa's grandmother, uncle's narrator's aunt, she had refused to go there because she wanted to know whether the place is safe for them or not. That's why what she did, she said whom Tiapa to go there to visit that place and to find out whether the place is comfortable for them, the place is safe for them or not. So Tiapa also went there, as he was very obedient, very good child. So he went there, and when he went there, he found a house. He found that house, but that house was without watchman. He found the door is unlocked. He pushed the door, he went inside, and he found everything in a very arranged way. The house was properly arranged, and he liked everything there. But now suddenly the doorbell rang, and now we will come to know, now we will see, children, after reading this the remaining part of the story, then we will come to know who enters the house, who comes to the house in order to meet him. Let's see. Clear? Class 8, now let us complete the remaining part of the chapter. Now see, Tiapa opened it and saw a rickety. Rickety means very, you can say, weak, not strong, frail. Rickety old Englishman with a small briefcase in hand and drenched to his skin. Drenched means very weak. Wet, completely wet. Drenched means completely wet to his skin, staring back at him. As you know that it was raining cats and dogs. It was raining very heavily. That's why he was completely wet. There were patches of moss and mud on his trousers, so Tiapa assumed that the man may have slipped and fallen somewhere. His cheeks were hollow, his face pale. Whose face was pale? That Englishman who had just entered. He was shivering in the cold, his teeth chattering incessantly. Incessantly means constantly. Chattering means it was just making sound when one feels so cold. So it was, touching each other, that is very constantly. Clear? May I come in? He asked. Who asked? That Englishman. Of course, what a day, Tiapa blurted. Blurted means he just spoke out without hesitating any word. He just spoke out, and why don't you change into some warm clothes and have some tea? As when he had seen that Englishman was completely wet, completely drenched, he said that you just change your clothes and let's have some tea. He tried to play the perfect host, and he was just saying as he was really a very good host. He believed in the hospitality. What do you mean by hospitality? To look after the guest very well. Then the two beds in the bedroom had a blanket each. means it was the blanket also arranged there. After tea, the Englishman opened his briefcase to reveal wads of 100 rupee notes which he carefully laid out on the mat to dry. Okay, because as he was completely wet, so he took out his notes in order to make them dry. Then he slipped into bed. Okay, he fell down. Okay, he was completely tired also, but he kept shivering even with 2 blankets. So Tyapa tucked his most favorite hot water bottle under the man's feet so that he could feel comfortable and he could feel warmth of that hot water. Then he had dinner and fell fast asleep. And he had dinner as he was completely tired also, so he fell asleep. The rain continued for 3 days at a stretch, means without any halt, without any stoppage, or without any, you can say continuously, it was raining for 3 days. Okay, it was no great surprise that they soon ran out of food, means they started feeling hungry. Tyapa searched the kitchen and located a small primus. What do you mean by primus? A small movable oil stove and torn umbrella. He ran to the corner shop to get rice, lentils, potatoes, onion and a bottle of oil so that he can prepare food. He can make food for both of them. However, trying to light the stove was another matter. He would have surely burned the house down had not the Englishman come running and adjusted the flame, as he was quite unknown how to light the stove, okay, how to prepare food. But still, and thank God that the old Englishman came there okay, on time, and he what prevented the house to be on fire. Now see, Tyapa's visitor was very affable, very friendly natured. Okay, he had high fever yet refused to have anything but tea and condensed milk. Although Tyapa was a wee bit curious. What do you mean by wee bit? Means a little bit. Wee bit means a little bit. And the old man consciously avoided talking about his bank notes. Instead, he simply stacked them back into his briefcase once they had dried. As you know that he had placed his wet notes on the floor in order to make them dry. But when they all got dried up, he kept them in the briefcase again. Beams of bright sunshine flooded the rooms on the third day. The sky was clear and blue. Tyapa packed his bags, bid farewell to the Englishman, and left the station, as he was now very relieved that he had found a very good house. Okay, and so that now he started going back. He decided to go back to his grandmother so that he could inform them about the new house. Okay. Beams of now on his return to Calcutta, he was told that the family had decided to go to Ghatshila instead because he had taken too long to return. You know, Tyapa had stayed there for 3 days. That's why when he went back, he was told that family had decided to go to the another place instead of Kurseong. His eldest aunt had already left for the place the previous day. The turn of events quite upset Tyapa. Why he was upset? Because he had tried his best to find out the best place for his grandmother, but when he came back, he found that they had decided to shift to another place. 15 years passed. Tyapa was a family man now. He had grown up and he got married and now he had a family. Okay, once deciding to visit Kurseong during the Puja's vacations, he looked up the same house again. Now he had decided to visit that place again. Which place? Kurseong in Darjeeling. Okay, it was available. It means it was in the same position when he had visited earlier. This time he voluntarily undertook the responsibility of inspecting it. Hence, on reaching the place, he deposited his suitcase with the station master and quickly walked up to the house he planned to return that evening. Now he had decided to go back. After visiting that place once again, he found everything was in the same position as he left earlier. Now, every bit of this visit mirrored his previous one. Means mirrored means was similar to. Okay, the charming house, the crooked, creaky gate, the absence of the watchman, as watchman was not earlier also, and this time also the open glass door, the light in the bedroom, and the water from the taps. As if that were not enough, clouds enveloped the sky. It was getting cloudy, it was getting darker. The mountains and the valley in the blinding darkness, and it began to rain heavily. Do you remember, children? Earlier, when he visited for the first time that place, it was also raining. Now, this time also, when he again visited the same place, then started raining. Suddenly, Tapa heard knocks on the door. Same way. Okay, just as on that night 15 years ago, he opened the door. Before him there stood an old rickety Englishman. Again rickety, that was an old Englishman with a small briefcase, the same man who had visited Tapa years ago. Remember that Englishman who was completely drenched and who had, taken out his notes in order to make them try. His eyes were hollow, same weak as he was earlier, his face pale and his teeth chattered. So what? His eyes were hollow, his face pale, and his teeth chattered from the cold. Again, it was chattering constantly, it was making sound by rubbing against each other. Tapa saw the patches of moss and mud on his trousers. Do you remember, children? The same position, the same way, and in the same, condition he had found that old man again. May I please come in? He asked. Now see what had happened. This is the climax of the story. Tapa held the door wide open, slid past the Englishman, and tore down the curved path towards the railway station. The rain lashed on without stopping. Means it was continuously raining heavily. Not once did Tapa stop to look back. He took to his heel. He could run as fast as, he was running as fast as he could in order to save himself, because he now could sense that something is wrong in that place. Didn't you find the story very mysterious? A horror story? How? Because at the end, again, you have come to know that when he get back, after arranging everything, Tapa, after arranging everything there for his grandmother, when he went back to tell that everything is all right, now one can shift there, he observed that his uncle that his grandfather had already shifted to a new place, because he took too many days to come back. But Tapa later on, when he became older, then he decided to visit that place one more time. Okay, and when he visited that place, again the same thing happened which had happened many years ago when he visited that place for the first time as ordered by his grandmother. And the same place, the house in the same condition, without watchman, and the door was unlocked. And when he entered again, he knocked but nobody came out. He found the house in the same way, in the same position as he left when he left it. Okay, and suddenly there was a knock. As it was done earlier also, there was a knock, and when he opened the door, he found the same English man. Okay, and he entered, and in the same way, drenched, completely wet. Then Tapa understood that there is something wrong in this place, and he took to his heel. He took to his heel means he ran away as fast as he could. Clear? And he saved himself. And that's the story mean a narrow escape. Clear?